Jen and
Cheri. We're from Thyme for Tea.
Thyme for Tea.
Yep.
And we're going to take you on a little tour.
It's time for a tour.
Of Telly's Gardens.
Yeah. Here we go.
Cheri.
Yes.
So I have lots of clients that will go shopping early spring because it's so exciting, and they buy all the beautiful blooms and go home and put them in their gardens, and then come summer or fall, they might not have much exciting happening. What would you suggest?
Well, hibiscus are a very good choice because usually in August, that's when they put their show on. And what I like about them is they have plants that have what I'll call multi-seasons of interest. So they come up with a maroon leaf, or some of them have kind of like a burn color or edging, but a lot of them have just the green leaf. And then come August, they get these blooms, as you can see on the tag. That's the color of this one. Very awesome. But the blooms will be about that big, and they are just spectacular. And a word of warning or caution, typically in the spring, as everyone's gardens start taking off and things start emerging, even the plants that you think, say your mums and things like that, they start emerging and you see them in the spring. Hibiscus are late to the party. They usually wake up really, really late. They're late sleepers. So they will look like this till probably now, like early June. And then literally the first part of June, when the soil finally starts to warm up, is when they do their thing. They kick off when the soil temps get into the 50s and 60s. So you just practice patience. If you buy these, practice patience in the spring and early summer, and you will be rewarded in August with, like, I don't know, 8-inch blooms that are really wonderful and breathtaking. And I guarantee you, people will say, "What is that? I want to know." So that's my pick.
Perfect.
What about you, Jen? Tell us about your choice.
My choice is Amsonia, and this particular one is called String Theory. But the varieties that I like are these fine leafed ones. They have actually some early spring blooms. They're kind of a little bit insignificant in the color because they're kind of a lighter blue. They're beautiful, but you have to kind of get up close to appreciate them. But then the exciting part is, in the fall, this will turn a magnificent, brilliant orange.
See, and they got smart on the tag. They show the spring color and then the fall color, and that is really pretty, like a golden yellow.
The other thing I love about these is it just has texture. So even in that mid-season, so you're set.
It has a weedy texture, so you have to be careful.
It looks like weeds. It does, but it's that thin leaf texture, which is cool.
You know what? I bought 2 of these last year, and I am eager to see what they do in my garden this year.
Yay!
I do love my Amsonia. I have Storm Cloud, which is similar to this, but it has a, I love it.
Thicker leaf. Maybe.
Yeah, in the spring when it comes up, it has black. It emerges, the stems are black.
Yeah.
And then it goes and has a beautiful show of powder blue buds in the spring.
My other tip for these is to plant them in masses. Like kind of plant them fairly close together in groups of 3 or 5. And I had a client who was like, "I want this shrub," and I'm like, "That's not a shrub. That's a whole bunch of perennials put together." But it does make a nice shrub look,
like a shrub
appearance. So
the texture is pretty cool because you do need to vary your textures in your gardens between like a
thick leaf.
And great pick. All right, so we've talked about a summer bloomer. What about, do you have any ideas for a fall bloomer that maybe people would be interested in?
I do. So this here is one of my absolute favorites. And right now, when you would go to the nursery, this does not look very impressive. And one of the things about some of these plants is they're not going to look impressive because they're growing in a pot. And so they're really not going to do what they're supposed to until you get them in the ground. So this one is going to start showing its color more in the fall. And this here, you can see, is what it will look like. Yep. This is Joe Pye weed. This is actually a dwarf variety. Eupatorium is the name. They did just change it to Eupatrocum in some places, but they do have a variegated variety on these. I do love the darker stems, are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But this gives me a nice structure in my garden. So nice tall form and
I have
structure.
it in mine, and I don't have the dwarf. I have the regular, and it'll be 6 to 8 feet tall, and the buds on the top can be a foot across.
Yeah, they're just beautiful and
they-
great pollinator.
Oh my God, all pollinators love it.
Love it. Yeah. So
What
this is
about
definitely
this?
one of my picks.
Tell me about the other one on the bench here.
Yeah. So this is
Really interesting.
chocolate Joe Pie. So again, we're getting these darker colors, which we like because that gives us interest. If this is next to your green, you can see how that gives you some interest, the leaf color. So this is going to be like this, but then in the fall, it's going to get I call it like a baby's breath spray of flowers. So it's just this light creamy color spray of flowers.
Very good.
But again, I love this foliage.
Very good. How tall does that one get? I don't even remember.
This one gets, ooh, and that's the other thing. We should always remember to read the signs because they do
Read your tags.
they do tell us. This one gets 30 to 36 inches.
Oh, so that's a shorter, much shorter than 8 feet.
Yes, much shorter than 8 feet. Yes.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me see. I don't
So Cheri,
Yeah,
tell me
yeah,
about your pick for when you think of autumn color.
I think of sedum,
Yes.
and I think a lot of people think it's. I like it again because it's got multi-seasons of interest. I feel like it has a really cool texture, even when you have the all green variety. This one's called Neon Lights. But there's so many varieties now because you've got the maroon color leafed like that. You have some that are more of a ground cover versus a plant. These are ground cover varieties, and these are really great. You can ignore them. That's what I like about them. You plant them and ignore them. Deer don't like them, rabbits don't like them. And even if they do browse a little bit, they actually help you out because what they do is they just, when they munch on it, then you'll get more stems from where they munched. And so the plant will be bunchier and more floriferous. And I plant them, certain ones between rocks and rock walls and things like that. And it just gives the rock wall a little bit of interest. And you've got even these little ones here. Look at the different texture here. And this one's called Olivia's gold moss. So it's a creeper along the ground. What I like about them, again, they're kind of succulent looking, and that's a hot trend right now. And some people call them broccoli plants because when the buds come out, they do look a little bit like broccoli, and so I just feel like they have a lot of interest. And they do have a variegated variety. There's one down here.
Ooh, that one's nice.
Yeah, variegated. And it's called Frosted Fire.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, that's my pick.
Great. And just as we're standing here and across the way, I see all our hens and chicks, which I would consider very similar to the sedum.
For sure. Because they're a succulent and they're hardy outside year round. Whereas,
super fun.
Yep.
Chick charms. Very fun.
We're right next to all the grasses. I mean, and they have these paired so nicely. The sedum goes great with grasses.
It does.
And what a great pairing for the fall.
So let's talk about grasses. So show me what you like about grasses, Cheri. Petting them.
It's like hair.
Petting them.
Yes. I like the native grasses, little blue stem, big blue stem.
Yeah.
Just because I crave, in my garden, I crave something more than just green.
Yeah.
And so these offer, again, multi-seasons of interest. So they'll emerge like a blue-green, and then they age, and you can see here, for instance, this one is called
Sandhill. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Sandhill. And it's got the maroon.
Beautiful coloring in there.
See
Yeah.
that. Again, so it's a blue-green with a maroon, which is a really great color combo. And then you've got ones like this. I like Blue Heaven. It's one of my favorites. Look at the tips on there.
That's just
and they're all
gorgeous.
together. And this one is an upright variety. So I use those in designs. And one nice thing about your native grasses is they don't need division as often, and they don't tend to die out in the center as often as, say, a miscanthus. And these obviously don't cut you like a miscanthus. I could not do this with a miscanthus.
Yeah.
I would have
Be all cut up.
slices, or it would feel like knives all over me. So no, that would be my choice.
Yay!
All right, Jen.
Okay.
So now talk to me about your grass choice.
Yes, so I love carex and sedges.
Why?
Those are my love because they do amazing in the shade. So,
Hence the reason we're underneath this shade cloth
Yes.
and we have weird lighting. So hang with us.
so these are two of my favorites. Hakanakloa, Japanese forest grass.
Yeah, hakone is what I call it. For these. And then people think you're really brilliant when you say that big word. Like, what?
Yeah, and however you say it is the right way to say it, is what I say, because I butcher all of the names. But I love this weeping form. I love it. Looks like a waterfall. It's got great texture. And then these carex here, I love the variegation in here.
Yes.
These are, and again, great texture. I love this big weeping waterfall. And then they don't have them here, but I love to mention our natives, and I've really been using a lot of Pennsylvania sedge. And that also has this really fine leaf, just weeping habit, but it's a great backdrop, and so you don't have to use mulch. You can use that instead of mulch.
Yeah.